walking our dog Dixie. I don't know if you can see me very well. I look really dark in the photo I have that I can see of myself. This is our dog Dixie. And she needs her exercise like I do. I'm on the Bright Line Eating program. As you know, I'm kind of adapting it to my life. So it's not really the Bright Line Eating program. But anyway, she you know, like for example, they don't want you to exercise at all. And I think this is a really good thing because, you know, when you're trying to lose weight, you really need to focus on that. I've always agreed with that. But I don't know. I don't see the harm in taking a walk. And I think it's healthy. And everyone can walk. So Dixie, Dean, and me are walking. And Dean has taken over the leash. But we thought we'd talk about Social Security while we're walking. Because Dean's twin brother, Dennis, is trying to get Social Security right now. He was injured in a very serious car accident back in June of what? Huh? Well, he wasn't injured. He wasn't nearly killed, but it could have been a near fatal accident. What he did with his head went right into the steering wheel, and he had like an open wound on the top of his head. It was really severe, and he broke his neck. But he was okay. He doesn't remember anything. From the, you know, he doesn't remember anything from the scene. And right now he's trying to get Social Security because he's still dizzy after all this time. It's getting close to a year pretty soon. And, you know, he's been working for how many years has your brother been working? Huh? He worked at University Hospital for 26 years. But, you know, he's been a working adult. Like, he's always worked, and he's paid into the system. And he hasn't been able to work. He can't lift anything beyond 10 pounds. And, you know, he's dizzy all the time. So he can't drive. He can't move his neck enough to drive properly and be safe. And so... But you know, they're still trying to evaluate him, and you know, I know it takes a long time. I mean, it took me a long time to get mine, but you know, we don't know if he's going to get it, and he can't work right now, and he's trying to collect unemployment in the meantime, and so anyway, you know, with me, you know, I look at all these people struggling to get the coverage that I have, the benefits that I have. And, you know, with me, it started all the way back in 1993. I started to have sexual abuse memories at that time. I mean, serious ones. I had some before then. My first sexual abuse memory surfaced on my mother's birthday, February 17th. I think it was 1992. Was it? I don't think it was 93. It was 1992. Yes. And from there, it just kept developing and developing. You know, before then, I had no memory of any sexual abuse of being sexually abused at all. It's really amazing. I really thought I was, you know, the child of divorced parents, and, you know, my mother was an alcoholic, and that was it. You know, I didn't understand, you know, that I was... I can't yell this in my neighborhood, that I was used as a CIA sex slave. Didn't know I was born into CIA sex slavery. Didn't know, because I didn't allow myself to know. I just wiped it all out. Had no memories. But yes, the memories started to come up, like I said, in 1992 on my mother's birthday, and they developed, and then in the spring of boy, I'm out of breath, aren't I? I don't walk. I used to walk all the time. But then in the spring of 1993, they really came out. I chanted a lot of what they call daimoku, which is chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo again and again. And oh my goodness, all this stuff came out. And so I overwhelmed. I had managed to find a therapist for no cost over at the LA Free Clinic. And she was overwhelmed, and she told me she couldn't handle it. And she told me that I was having, I mean, I see some comments here. I guess you're not really saying anything, but okay. So she was very overwhelmed by what she was hearing. And I won't tell you what I told her and all the stuff that I remembered at that time. It involved members in the SGI, just to let you know. And so my therapist kind of thought, well, gosh, I don't know. I was handling it fine. I was really happy to remember all this stuff, but I was overwhelming my therapist, and my therapist thought that I was having some kind of... she didn't know what to think. So she told me to go to the emergency room because I didn't have any insurance. So I did, and I think my ex-husband helped me once. I went to the emergency room once or twice, and somebody mentioned bipolar disorder. And so I thought, oh, okay, maybe that's what's wrong. There's nothing wrong. This stuff is not true. Great. And so I had to go through the system that is in place in Los Angeles for people who don't have any money. And I went to whatever clinic they had in Santa Monica. And eventually my boyfriend got involved. That's David Craig. He lived right near one of the clinics at that time. And the doctors there didn't think anything was wrong with me. I was just experiencing the memories of some severe trauma. I was sexually abused, clearly and obviously. Flashbacks, yeah, like Dean just chimed in. And there wasn't anything wrong with me. There was something wrong with what happened to me. So, they wouldn't give me any medication. And I had heard that other people were getting on disability, and I couldn't function, because I was being actively raped at the time. I didn't know it, but I intuitively knew it, or on some level knew it, and I knew I needed disability because I couldn't function being raped all the time. People would drug me with date rape drugs. That's how they did it. So I am so out of breath. Oh my gosh. So we talked to the doctors, and they wouldn't budge. And so my boyfriend, David Craig, got the idea to invite my doctor over because I thought he was a cute guy. And I told David that I thought he was cute. And David invited him over to our house, drugged me, of course, and invited him to rape me in exchange, I guess, for giving me the diagnosis that we wanted, bipolar disorder. Well, the doctor, he was all up for it. He's like, yeah, because he liked me too, apparently. And he came over to David's house and saw me laying there naked. And he's like, yo, and I remember this for myself because date rape drugs don't do away with my memory. It might take me years and years to remember, but I remember. And my eyes are always open. Usually they're open. 99% of the time they're open. So he came in and he's like, what? I thought she'd be awake, I thought, she was into this or whatever he said. And he's like, no, come on. And the doctor's like, sorry, she's not awake. I'm not doing this. You know, he basically didn't want to rape me, and I respect him for that. And he left. And then I went to the doctor the next day, and I didn't have any memory of it at the time. I just thought I was going to my doctor's appointment. I don't know if it was the next day, but I went to my next doctor's appointment. God, I'm so out of breath. Just walking around the block. Oh my gosh. And he's like, oh, so do you remember me at your house yesterday? You know, because I was always at David's house. It was like my house. And I'm like, what? No, what are you talking about? And he's like, you don't. I'm like, no. And then after that, he agreed to, he signed a form that said there was something like unconscious, something like this, the person is unconscious, the patient is unconscious some of the time, or something like that. It had something with unconscious on it, and he signed it, and that's what gave me, that's what got me my disability. And after that, they started giving me medication for bipolar disorder, something he said I didn't have. And I was, once you get labeled with a diagnosis, you have it, for life. Because the way the psychiatric community works, once one psychiatrist diagnoses you that way, they all think that's your diagnosis forever and ever. It doesn't matter if you sleep soundly every night and never had trouble sleeping. You might, in my case, I have a very unusual story to tell, of course, and a very unusual history, but that doesn't mean that I'm having a manic episode. I'm sure there are a lot of psychiatrists out there that would say, well, then you were misdiagnosed. Yeah, I was, but they would say, well, maybe it shouldn't have been bipolar disorder. Maybe it should have been, I don't know what they would say. Delusional disorder. That's something I've heard of, and have heard, people have told me about. I'm certainly not schizophrenic. They can't diagnose me with that. I certainly don't have schizoaffective disorder. What is it? It's either the truth or, I'm sure because because psychiatrists think that there's a very narrow window of possibility when it comes to reality. It can't be a spiritual experience, right? It can't. It has to be delusion. And so they have to label me with something. But anyway, the point is, this is how I got on disability. And yes, I deserved to be on disability. Being a victim of this nation's, this country's government, being used as a sex slave. I was born into this. I was a baby when they were using me, when they were raping me. I lost my virginity when I was 18 months old. 18 months old. I was a baby. And it was the most painful thing that ever happened to me. And I remember it now, okay? And they had to do an operation, they had to do surgery on me when I was 4 years old to widen my vaginal canal so that regular full-sized men could penetrate me vaginally. Only Japanese men could stick it in vaginally before then. Okay? This is what I went through in this country, okay? In the United States of America. And I deserve this disability, even though I'm not disabled, okay? I've healed. I know it's unbelievable. Somebody like me should be dead. Usually CIA sex slaves die before they're 30. They either commit suicide, they do drugs, they OD. Someone kills them. The CIA does not want us to live and do a Facebook Live like this. But anyway, that's how I got on SSI. The minimum, I had just, missed SSDI by just a little bit. I had jobs, but it wasn't enough, and I was treated like a poor person, was put on SSI, and in Georgia, they don't supplement my income because it's too much. I've been on it since like I told you, I was talking about back in 1993, and I finally got it in 1994, and they finally gave it to me in 1994 after I was rejected once, and David took over and got me accepted. Got it in 1994, the summer of 1994, and because of it's so many years ago, they date it back to when you first applied for it. So that was 1993. So, okay, let me do my math. 1993, 2017. There's 4. So is it 30? No, 24 years. Is that right? Yeah. And it's time to get off of it. I deserve a lot more money. I only make, it's now up to $793 a month. And Georgia thinks it's too much to supplement that like California does. For instance, California says, $793 is what you get from the federal government, and we will supplement it, and they usually supplement it about $300. So in California right now, I would be making like over $1,000 a month. And in Georgia, they say, screw you, we don't do that. They have a cap of $750 a month or something like that, or $700 a month. And so what they do is they switch you on to SSDI, which is the insurance that people have when they've paid into the system, like Dennis Boyd, Dean's identical twin brother, has for however 30-some years overall. And they won't give him his Social Security right now, but they have me on SSDI, like I paid into the system for 30-some years or something like that. And because I'm on SSDI, I can't cut off my disability until I go to work for 5 more months. I've worked 4 more months. It's within a 5-year window, and I've already worked here and there over the years 4 months total, and so I need 5 more months, and then they'll cut me off. If I were to get like a lot of money today, they would still have me on disability. I couldn't get off of it. Even if I win the lottery, they would not cut me off disability because I'm on SSDI, and I shouldn't be on SSDI. I'm supposed to be on SSI, but Georgia, is a really weird state, and this is how the CIA is claiming that I can't get my money or be president of the United States. Oh, can you imagine me as president? It would be such a better country. It would. But what I'm saying is they planned this, they rigged this so that I can't get off disability unless I work some job where they treat me like a slave, because I have no education and I can't, get a decent job that I would enjoy, and it'd be easier for me if I could enjoy my work. I have to get a slave job, and I don't really work that way because I'm a savant, and it's hard, but I'm going to do it, okay? This is what I have to do, and the only way I can become president of the United States, I don't know, hopefully the money will come first, but the way that I'll become president is by working those 5 slave months, and then I'll get off disability, and then there will be nothing that will prevent me from taking my place as the rightful U.S. president, and, Trump will have to go away, and, he's counting on me not being able to do this, but Donald, count your days. You don't have many left. I'm doing this. Thank you for watching, guys. I don't know. Nobody's really said very much, but I see that a few of you are watching. Hi, Susan. Hi, Jahanzeb and Freeman. There's somebody else. I can't read your name. Khalid or something like that. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. And I'm going to try and take a walk and talk about different subjects if my neighbors don't mind. All right, thanks. Bye.